What is Kingdom on Wall Street? Hey there, welcome to Kingdom on Wall Street. I'm your host, Starkey Roberson. If this is your first time here, this is probably the best video you could have clicked on because I want to spend a few minutes explaining exactly what Kingdom on Wall Street is, why this platform exists, and what I hope we're able to build through these conversations. And before we get started, grab a pen and paper. You're going to hear me say that a lot around here because my goal isn't simply to give you something interesting to watch. I want to give you something worth thinking about, something worth writing down, and hopefully something you can actually apply. Kingdom on Wall Street exists at the intersection of faith, business, stewardship, entrepreneurship, systems, and purpose. But if I had to summarize the philosophy of this platform in one sentence, it would be this: faith is the foundation, business is the work, people are the purpose. Let's break that down. First, faith is the foundation. If you're a Christian entrepreneur, your faith shouldn't simply be something you practice on Sunday and then leave at the door when you walk into your business on Monday. It should affect how you lead, how you treat people, how you handle money, how you respond when things don't go your way, how you treat customers, how you treat employees, how you make difficult decisions, how you define success, how you respond to failure, how you carry responsibility, and how you steward whatever God has placed in your hands. That's the foundation. But then there's the work. And I emphasize work because kingdom business cannot exist entirely in the language of vision, calling, prophecy, and purpose. At some point, somebody has to do the work. The customer still needs to be served. The phone still needs to be answered. The product needs to work. The numbers need to make sense. The systems need to function. The employee needs to be trained. The invoice needs to be sent. The problem needs to be solved. The business needs to operate. I think sometimes we can become so fascinated with the idea of being called to something that we underestimate the responsibility of carrying it. Having a vision doesn't eliminate the need for execution. If anything, believing you've been entrusted with something should make you more serious about how you handle it. That's why we're going to talk about practical business here. We're going to talk about entrepreneurship, marketing, systems, operations, leadership, money, customers, technology, business models, growth, failure, opportunity, decision making, and all of the complicated things that happen between having an idea and actually building something that works. But then there's the third part. People are the purpose. This is incredibly important to me. Business involves money. There's no reason to pretend otherwise. A business that continually spends more than it generates eventually won't be able to continue operating. Profit matters, cash flow matters, capital matters, financial stewardship matters. But money isn't a person. Behind almost every meaningful business transaction, there's a human need. A customer is a person. An employee is a person. A business partner is a person. A vendor is operated by people. A household supported by a paycheck contains people. A community affected by a business is made up of people. So, when we talk about building kingdom businesses, we're ultimately talking about building organizations that should serve people. That doesn't mean giving everything away. It doesn't mean refusing to make a profit. And it certainly doesn't mean running a poorly managed business in the name of ministry. It means understanding why economic capacity matters in the first place. A healthy business can solve problems. It can create jobs. It can create opportunities. It can support families. It can purchase from other businesses. It can invest. It can give. It can build things. It can strengthen communities. It can create products and services that improve somebody's life. That's why I want Kingdom on Wall Street to go deeper than motivational content. I want us to think. Sometimes we're going to examine a business idea. Sometimes we're going to talk about what happens when you know you're supposed to build something, but you don't feel motivated to do it. Sometimes we're going to talk about stewardship. Sometimes we'll discuss money. Sometimes we'll discuss systems. Sometimes we'll discuss technology. Sometimes we'll talk about what happens when your business isn't growing. Sometimes we'll look at opportunities that Christian entrepreneurs may be overlooking. And sometimes we'll have to ask uncomfortable questions about the way we conduct business. This isn't about pretending Christian entrepreneurs have all the answers. We don't. It's about becoming better stewards. And that's why I call this an ongoing conversation. I don't want you simply watching me, I want you participating. When I ask a question, answer it in the comments. When you disagree with something, respectfully tell us why. When you've learned something through experience that could help another entrepreneur, share it. When you've made a mistake that somebody else could avoid, talk about it. When you have a business question, ask it. When you have an idea worth exploring, bring it. Because there's a tremendous amount of knowledge sitting inside the experiences of ordinary people. Sometimes somebody simply needs to start the conversation. That's what I want Kingdom on Wall Street to do. I also want you to understand something about me as your host. I'm not standing here pretending I've arrived. Kingdom on Wall Street is also documenting the journey. I'm building, I'm learning, I'm making decisions, I'm solving problems, I'm developing businesses and systems, I'm encountering things that work and things that don't, and I'm inviting you into some of those lessons. So this isn't a conversation from the finish line, we're talking while we're building. And I think there's value in that because most of life happens in the middle, between the idea and the outcome, between the prayer and the answer, between starting and succeeding, between knowing what you're supposed to do and figuring out how to actually do it. That's where many people are right now. And that's where a lot of our conversations are going to happen. So, if you're a Christian entrepreneur, business owner, builder, leader, or somebody who believes God has placed something in your hands that you're responsible for carrying, you're in the right place. Subscribe to the channel and stay connected. And before you go, I want you to answer 3 questions. What are you currently building? Or what do you believe you've been entrusted to build? What is the biggest challenge standing between where you are and where you're trying to go? And what kind of conversations do you wish Christian entrepreneurs were having that you don't hear enough? Put your answers down in the comment section. They may help shape where this conversation goes next. Faith is the foundation. Business is the work. People are the purpose. Welcome to Kingdom on Wall Street. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.